Piscata Rosia 445. Alright folks, welcome back to Let's Play XCOM UFO Defense. You guys are probably all wishing this was a Silent Hill update, but there is actually a very good reason why it's not. I was going to record Silent Hill this weekend, but then someone asked me to do a co-op LP project with them, and it took like about, in terms of actual recording, it's about 8 hours, but in terms of all the preparation and everything, it took about 10 hours total to finish. So I really didn't feel up to doing any Let's Plays of Silent Hill this weekend. And so, yeah, it takes a lot more time and energy to edit something recorded from a console as opposed to something like this, which I'm going to record and then immediately throw up on YouTube. So, yeah, we're doing some XCOM UFO Defense in the meantime, and we'll get back to Silent Hill in a bit. Wednesday will probably end up being another XCOM one, just because I'm not going to have time to record it between now and then, with work and everything. But, yeah, hopefully by the next week we'll be back onto Silent Hill. Anyway, once again, I apologize. There was some audio desync in the previous couple XCOM videos, and there might end up being some in this one. If there is, I'm very sorry. I'm probably just going to have to end up switching the recording program I use for this. I don't know why it suddenly decided to screw up on me. If it doesn't desync from this one, fine, I'll continue to use it. If it does, then I'll just use one of my others, and that'll be the end of it. So there definitely won't be any desync in the next video, and I hope there's not going to be any in this one. If there is, I'm sorry. Alright, so let's just get started. Let's see here. Is this the one we're on? 27th of March. No, I don't think that's it, actually. I really wish I knew which one I was on. Let's check this one out. This is exciting, right? Me looking through to see. No, this one was not it. Actually, I think I know. I'm gonna need to. I am close, though. Yes, thank you, thank you. Alright, I think it's this one. Yes, this one looks about right. Alright, folks. Actually, there was something I've been thinking about recently. And it's this new XCOM game that's actually coming out for, modern consoles. And there's actually been, from what I understand, there's been quite a bit of debate about it. There's been quite a bit of a backlash against it, with people doing things like, screaming betrayal in the middle of gaming conventions. And things like that. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to give my, hopefully slightly more, logical and well-thought-out opinion on it. Basically, I've been watching the, I've been looking at the game, you know, from the trailers and stuff they've released. And, it actually looks pretty good to me. But with a hiccup. It seems to be set in sort of like you're playing sort of a G-Man in like the 1950s sort of setting. You know, like, you know all those flashbacks you saw of like Mulder's father and the cigarette-smoking man in the X-Files? Basically, it's that. And you're fighting aliens. And that's actually a really cool idea for a video game, one that I don't think has ever really been explored. Honestly. Not that I can think of, and certainly not anything on, like, modern consoles. So it is a really original idea. But that just sort of brings me to the question, why isn't this an original video game? Because really, there's only one problem with this game, and that's the fact that it's called XCOM. Because it really has nothing to do with XCOM. I mean, if you're gonna do, like, they just did a reboot of Mortal Kombat, but you know what, you look at that Mortal Kombat game, and you immediately think, wow, this is Mortal Kombat. I mean, it's a 2D fighter with all the Mortal Kombat characters, and they're doing fatalities, and they're doing those giant Mortal Kombat uppercuts. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. So, I mean, that's sort of what a entry into a series should be, especially like a remake. I mean, it looked a lot like the first Mortal Kombat, just with updated graphics and things like that, and they added a couple new things, but it's mostly the same. Which sort of nice. Sort of makes me, I mean, but this game, it really doesn't look like, I mean, alright, let me actually just make a point. I'm going to save here. We're gonna save over, we're gonna save here, I guess. Alright, so they're setting it in the 1950s, right? Okay. Well, let's see how long it takes me to realize this game is not set in the 1950s. Alright, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3... Okay, 3 seconds. It's 1999. Clearly not 1950. I'm just saying, the whole setting in the 50s... Really? That's a great idea for a video game, but that's not XCOM. In fact, it's not even set in the past. I'm pretty sure when this game was made, it was made in like the mid to early 90s. They specifically set this game in the future. So I mean, if you're gonna update it, alright, you could either set it in 1999 again, which is probably what I would have done. You could just not specify the time, just have it be modern day. Or you could even try and keep with the original spirit and set it in the near future, like 2020 or something. But they didn't do any of that. They set it back in the past. Then you got, like, the aliens you're fighting. I have not seen a single actual original XCOM alien. It's this, not even like the ones from Apocalypse or Terror from the Deep. Oh, hello, guy. It's these other aliens that are just completely new. And I mean, if you're gonna add new aliens, it's fine, but they only have new aliens, that's it. So... I hope you don't die there. I'm probably not playing so well right now because I'm trying to make a point, but... Come on, David. You can do it. Does that guy have a blaster launcher? I hope not. But there's not a single original alien, if you get the point I'm trying to make. I mean, there's nothing you'd find familiar. And, you know, let's see. Then you got, just the basic gameplay. Like, okay, you go back, I'm gonna go back to the Mortal Kombat game that just came out, because that's the closest, I mean, that's the most recent remake. And that's actually getting pretty good reviews from what I understand. It's supposed to be pretty good. The gameplay is Mortal Kombat. I mean, it's a 2D fighting game. I mean, there are fatalities, there's all that, there's the... I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's what it plays like. This... I mean, you see what this game plays like. It's a sort of isometric view strategy game, squad-based strategy game. The new one is a first-person shooter. Does anything about what I'm playing right now make you think, huh, yeah, this reminds me of a first-person shooter? Are you reminded of Call of Duty right now? Is anything about this reminding you of Call of Duty? No? If so, you're deranged. I mean, I guess chrysalids make people into zombies? But that just reminds me more of Resident Evil than it would... I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So the gameplay is just completely different. I mean, as I recall, they're like trying to add some squad-based stuff to it. But still, I mean, it's not just a squad. It's a strategy game, is what it is. I mean, you can't add squad elements. Say it's an XCOM game. XCOM is a strategy game. Honestly, if you want an XCOM shooter, they made one already. It was called Enforcer. And is Enforcer really the kind of memories you want to bring up in your new XCOM game? That was the worst thing that's ever happened to an established video game series, aside from maybe Final Fantasy XIII or the other XCOM game, Interceptor. I'm just saying. Alright, so the gameplay's not the same, the aliens aren't the same, so the enemy's not the same. The setting's not the same because it's set as like a G-Man in the 1950s. And even like the premise isn't the same, because I was reading through, or I was looking through the little thing, the trailer they just released, and it's all talking about how the aliens are like this threat to like United States national security, which makes me think, especially the whole G-Man premise, that in this game XCOM is supposed to be like a branch of the U.S. military or the government. And it's not. It's an international coalition. That's the whole point of the game. You have to keep all the different sponsor nations happy. Otherwise, they're gonna stop funding XCOM. It's not a branch of the U.S. government. I mean, the U.S. is the biggest sponsor, but you've got to keep all the countries happy. And in fact, I mean, I might be wrong on this, but I don't even think the original XCOM was made by a American company. I think it was actually made by a British company, because correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they spelling like armor with like U's? I'm almost certain they do. I'm just saying. So it's not even, if you're gonna make it anything, it would be a branch of the British government, I would think. I mean, I don't really think Britain has the money to fight off an entire alien invasion by itself, but you know, you get the point I'm trying to make. And I think that was one of the coolest things about it, that XCOM, you have to keep... Now the nations really like this whole international coalition that they got going on, and they really don't trust it, so because they don't like working together, so you gotta try and keep them all happy, because really the only chance that humanity has to fight off the aliens is to put forth a joint effort, and that whole idea is just completely scrapped in this new one, apparently. And then, you know, that also means, you know, this is actually really only half the game, these missions. Even that, I think, is probably going to end up being scrapped as well. There's probably not going to be any base building or any of the sort of overworld sections, which are actually some of my favorite. I mean, the squad stuff is good too, but I'm going to end the turn here, I guess. Oh, man. Oh. So the aliens aren't the same. XCOM isn't the same. The setting isn't the same. I mean, they changed every single aspect of the game. So I'm not saying that this is a bad idea. I mean, it looks like a really cool idea. But if you've changed everything that makes XCOM XCOM, it makes me wonder, why does this need to be an XCOM game? Was the world really crying out for another XCOM game? Like, does that really have any name? I mean, it has name value with people like me, but like the Call of Duty generation that's, you know, buying video games these days, I mean, does XCOM really mean that much to them? I don't think so. So they're really just sort of going after the audience of old school gamers like me who are complaining, and have been complaining, about the exact same things I've just been complaining about. You know what? You take away the XCOM name, and I've just solved every single complaint people have raised against it. The whole problem is this is not faithful to XCOM at all. I'm gonna have her take a shot at him. I could get 3 auto shots on him, I think. Oh, if you hit that one guy, do not hit your own men, Phoenix. That one was actually pretty close. I'm gonna have this guy move out of the way. So yeah, I don't know. They ought to just call it, I don't know, freaking... Call it just Project Blue Book or something like that. I don't know. That was what... Wasn't that the original, U.S. Air Force project to spot... or to track down unidentified flying objects? There you go. Just call it something like that. And there, problem solved. I mean, I hate it, you know, just the fact that video games nowadays are just all part of established series. This seems like a really original premise. I hate to be complaining about it, but they ought to just make it an original game, you know. Picard shot right in his face. Wow. That was impressive. Don't mess with Captain Picard. Anyway, the one thing I saw about the game that, or I seemed to see in the trailer that did look kind of cool, was the fact that you do, like, kind of research things. And that's my favorite part of this game, and I think that's one of the greatest things about, like, XCOM games, that you can research, like, the alien technology. Because as you've seen, like, in terms of, like, the original technology we had when we started the game, the aliens completely outmatched us. So I think that's sort of the premise of the XCOM games, that the aliens are way more powerful than you, and that humanity's really inherent advantage is that we're just really good at taking their technology and then suiting it for our own means. Or adapting it to our own means. So I think that's a really cool idea, and I'm glad to see they kept that. But that one thing alone is not enough to make it an XCOM game. It's just not. Like, what, you could, in that one stage of Eternal Darkness, like, you could, you know, perform autopsies on the monsters in, like, Eternal Darkness. There! You know what? XCOM game. You did research. I mean, no one's gonna call Eternal Darkness an XCOM. You know what? They didn't even call Eternal Darkness like a Call of Cthulhu game, and that would have been way closer. I mean, that has a lot to do. That is very close to the Cthulhu mythos. You know, you change the names of the monsters. There, Cthulhu mythos. Done. You know. So that was even way was even way closer to source material that they weren't even making an adaptation of. So you just sort of see where I'm getting upset here, I hope. I mean, heck, Resident Evil, they might as well just call that, like, I don't know, what? Evening of the Dead? There you go. It's part of the George Romero's Dead series of movies. I mean, it's closer than this game is to XCOM. There are zombies. You're stuck in a house out in the middle of nowhere. Done. You know? I really don't see why this needs to be part of the XCOM series. The worst part about it is just that it's made me remember freaking Enforcer. Which is honestly, you know, I hesitate to call Final Fantasy 13 the worst game I've ever played. Or my least favorite game of all... Not the worst game I've ever played, but my least favorite game of all time. And the one reason for that is because I've played the 4th and 5th games in the XCOM series. That is the one reason. That's the only time I've felt the kind of betrayal that I felt playing Final Fantasy 13. I suppose I shouldn't have... I was sort of making fun of Spoonie for screaming betrayal in the gaming convention. I basically did that. That was my Let's Play of Final Fantasy 13. Me screaming betrayal. So, you know, didn't mean to bash on him, but, you know. There, so you've had my opinion on XCOM, and that took up basically this entire part of the Let's Play. And actually, no one's died yet. In fact, I don't even think any civilians have died during this part, so apparently when I'm not paying attention at all, and I'm just bitching about, you know, the XCOM series and where it's going, I do much better. I don't think there are even many aliens left. There's probably like one or two more. Anyway, so yeah, I know this probably hasn't been the most, you know, haha hilarious episode of XCOM, but, you know, I hope it was at least one of the more educational. Alright, I think he's got enough to run into that building if he misses. Come on, Mulder! Oh, nice! That was for my sister, you bitch. That was pretty awesome. Alright, Mulder, I'm gonna need you to run away now, dude. Oh, you're not even gonna make it, are you? Nice. Thanks. And that's just blocked off Sulu's path. Alright. Oh, well. Brad, why don't you go in first? Nobody likes you. You know, and this problem I have with XCOM is kind of exactly the same problem I have with Resident Evil movies. It really has nothing to do with the source material at all, except that there are zombies. And actually, the Resident Evil movies are more faithful to the source material than the new XCOM game is. But that's enough. You guys got my point across. I think you guys understood. So I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying it shouldn't be an XCOM game. I mean, it might still be a bad game. I don't know. We'll see. But that's the sort of thing I'm just going to have to wait to play it. It looks pretty good. I mean, I don't see... They really ought to have just done... You know what? Update the graphics. Give the player control over the camera. You know, add a couple of the innovations they made in, like, Terror from the Deep and Apocalypse. More things to research, more things to manufacture, a couple different kinds of aliens. And you know what? Done. There's your remake of XCOM. Alright, let's see. Oh, that's it! Well, that was easy enough. One civilian killed. That was really good! Yeah, okay, I take it back. I am bitching about different video game series whenever I do terror missions, because one civilian killed. That is the only minus I got. Not a single XCOM operative killed. 576. That is amazing for a terror mission, and we needed that because, yeah, we just do. Alright, I'm gonna take a look. Oh, no. What I need is it in the UFOpedia? China doesn't want to pay us. Where is it? Oh, I'll find it later. I'm looking for the graphs, but anyway. Basically, I think that's about... I can't find my timer, but it's been about half an hour. So, that's been it for this episode of XCOM, UFO Defense, where I've just bitched about XCOM. You know, I'm going to even check here in a second. Armour. See, they do spell it with a U. See, this is a British game. Because Americans know how to correctly spell armor. It's not armour. You're not having a paramour with your armour. It's armor. Anyway. But yeah, see? Actually, that really looks like an A. It's like, ah. Okay, I'm done now, guys. I will see you guys later. Kiss, kiss. Things wouldn't pop up like that. Alright. No, this is still recording. Sorry about that. There's not going to be any in this one. If there is, I'm sorry. Alright. So, let's just get started. Let's see here. Is this the one we're on? 27th of March. No, I don't think that's it, actually. I really wish I knew which one I was on. Let's check this one out. This is exciting, right? Me looking through to see. They threw up on YouTube. So, yeah, we're doing some XCOM UFO Defense in the meantime, and we'll get back to Silent Hill in a bit. Wednesday will probably end up being another XCOM one, just because I'm not going to have time to record it between now and then, with work and everything. But, yeah, hopefully by the next week we'll be back onto Silent Hill. Anyway, once again, I apologize. There was some audio desync in the previous couple XCOM videos, and there might end up being some in this one. If there is, I'm very sorry. I'm probably just going to have to end up switching the recording program I use for this. I don't know why it suddenly decided to screw up on me. If it doesn't desync in this one, fine, I'll continue to use it. If it does, then I'll just use one of my others, and that'll be the end of it. So there definitely won't be any desync in the next video, and I hope there's Piscata Rosia 445. Alright, folks, welcome back to Let's Play XCOM UFO Defense. You guys are probably all wishing this was a Silent Hill update, but there is actually a very good reason why it's not. I was going to record Silent Hill this weekend, but then someone asked me to do a co-op LP project with them, and it took like about, in terms of actual recording, it's about 8 hours, but in terms of all the preparation and everything, it took about 10 hours total to finish. So I really didn't feel up to doing any Let's Plays of Silent Hill this weekend. And so, yeah, it takes a lot more time and energy to edit something recorded from a console as opposed to something like this, which I'm going to record and then immediately. No, this one was not it. Actually, I think I know. I'm gonna need to. I am close, though. Yes, thank you, thank you. Alright, I think it's this one. Yes, this one looks about right. Alright, folks. Actually, there was something I've been thinking about recently. And it's this new XCOM game that's actually coming out for modern consoles. And there's actually been, from what I understand, there's been quite a bit of debate about it. There's been quite a bit of a backlash against it, with people doing things like screaming betrayal in the middle of gaming conventions, and things like that. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to give my, hopefully slightly more logical and well-thought-out opinion on it. Basically, I've been watching the, I've been looking at the game, you know, from the trailers and stuff they've released. And, it actually looks pretty good to me. But with a hiccup. It seems to be set in sort of like you're playing sort of a G-Man in like the 1950s sort of setting. You know, like you know all those flashbacks you saw of like Mulder's father and the cigarette-smoking man in the X-Files? Basically, it's that.